What is up, you guys? It is your boy Phoenix Brenton here. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the New York Giants. And before we get into today's video, first of all, I got a haircut. Well needed. Second of all, you may realize my face is a little red and stuff because I've been outside a lot. So I, you know, I'm outside a lot. And the reason why it's like this is also because I was wearing sunglasses. Just to let you guys know that ahead of time. So, for example, you could see right here, this is good, but then this is red. That's just what happens. I'm happy that I'm going to be staying inside a lot more because for the love of God, I need it. But anyways, like and subscribe. We're on the road to getting to 700 subscribers. But also one other thing, if you wondering what these two are, these little pellets there, they are, I believe, to be mosquito bites. So answer your questions. And also, I have a playlist of all these teams in the NFL. If your favorite team isn't there yet, I just haven't uploaded it yet, probably. So, without a doubt, let's just get into the video. And the Giants, I'm going to be honest with this. I think they're kind of a sleeper team heading into the 2025 season. Now, do I think they're going to win the division? No. Do I think they're going to make it to the playoffs? Slim but possible. But this team is such a sleeper team. Like, I feel like a lot of people kind of question, why do I think this team is a sleeper? Well, one simple reason. They do not have Daniel Jones anymore at quarterback. I hate when people say Russell Wilson isn't that good. Shut up. Russell Wilson is miles better than Daniel Jones, even if it's this washed up version of Russell Wilson. That doesn't matter. And also, one other thing that I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about is Javon Holland signed to the Giants. This is a really, really big addition, I think, to this defense. This defense could have used something else in the secondary, and I think this is going to be one of those just pretty big moves that could potentially go better. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's the Xavier McKinney. What I mean by the Xavier McKinney, I mean by I'm not meaning by him being significantly better than he was back in New York. I'm just saying he's just an underrated signing that not a lot of people particularly talked about. Well, I'd say some people talked about it, but not a lot. And that's what happened. And also, Apostle Diva was also a very good signing as well. Again, those two signings, I think, can immensely fix their secondary. And again, Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, and I don't care what people say about it, those are probably better additions at quarterback than what people, I feel like, talk about. And that really makes things interesting in terms of their QB depth chart. So their QB depth chart as of recently is Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart, well, I'll talk about a little bit later, and Tommy DeVito. So it's very interesting that this is their current quarterback depth chart. Obviously, I'm only seeing the 4 quarterbacks. I don't know if there's more quarterbacks. There probably is, but they're not that important, probably. And then let's also just look around the roster as well. I'm saying, no, I will be honest. I'm sorry about that. There was a little bit of a barking situation, and also I moved my camera a little bit. So just to let you guys know about that. So the running back room is, I think, very solid with Devin Singletary and Tremont Tracy. And you're hoping for Tremont Tracy to have a little bit of a better year. And I think Cam Shackboone is new as well. I think he's a rookie running back. Yeah, he's a rookie running back. Interesting to see what he might do. Could he be an RB2, RB1? Who knows? I mean, who knows with running backs, really? Running backs can come out of any round and they could be good. I mean that literally. But generational, that's a bit of a different story. Their wide receiving room, and I feel like a lot of people don't talk about their wide receiving room as much as they do. Like, for example, Malik Neighbors, without a doubt, probably one of the best receivers in the league. And this may be a bit of a controversial opinion, but I think Malik Neighbors is probably the best receiver out of that draft class. It could be a bit controversial, but I think that's probably a good case. Rondo Robertson is a very underrated wide receiver. I do. I think everybody wished though that he was not so short because he is 5'8". That's good running back size, not good receiving size. And Darius Slayton, who I think is a very decent receiver at that. They also have Zach Pascal, which is also a very decent depth receiver. And then you got your tight end room, and this is a little bit of a concern. I mean, you got decent tight ends like Daniel Bellinger, Greg Dutch, Theo Johnson. But the problem is can any of those tight ends actually be good tight ends? That is something we're going to have to kind of just wait and see when we get to the season. And their offensive line is okay. It's not great, though. Like, Andrew Thomas isn't as big as he used to be. John Runyon is a very solid offensive lineman. It's like their offensive line is solid. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not good, I would say. And then their front seven. And I have to talk about the Abdul Carter pick now because I bet you some people are going to be like, bro, where's Abdul Carter at? Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I will say this one thing. Abdul Carter definitely helps his team, and I think everybody can agree with that. But stop saying this guy's probably going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I just kind of doubt that. Like, personally, and if you guys saw my reaction with the Abdul Carter pick when it happened, I was like, this is a best player available. It's just, will this guy actually help their team? I just personally don't think so. Yeah, they probably have in my opinion, the scariest edge rushing depth chart in the league. Because not a lot of people talk about Kayvon Thibodeau on that, to be honest. And Brian Burns is also a very good player. And obviously, you also have Dexter Lawrence in that front seven, which is arguably one of the best defensive tackles in the league. And you got Bobby Okereke, Michael McFarland. Those are very good linebackers. And then their secondary, which got drastically improved. But players like Boston Odebo, Deontay Banks is still there. And then Javon Holland, obviously, those two additions, well, I think drastically changed their secondary. And you're kind of hoping for like players like Dur Phillips, Deontay Banks, and Tyler Newman, or even Kurlanti or Cordell Flott to play better this year. And also maybe potentially Kerlon Wallace, who signed in there as well. You're kind of hoping for one of those players to particularly stand up, but obviously for Cortland Floor, Deontay Banks, or Phillips, you're kind of hoping for one of them to stand up as the number 2 corner for this defense. And Jackson Dart, I want to talk about Jackson Dart for a sec. I highly doubt he will probably start the season. And I think this is a very good move by the Giants. Like, I hate when coaches or whatever say, oh, we should start and run away. Yeah, it's not. Sometimes it works. Like, for example, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud. But sometimes quarterbacks are better when they sit behind a quarterback for a year or two. The best example of this, and I'll say this once, I'll say it again, is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes sit behind Alex Smith for a year. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years. One of the best quarterbacks of all time. Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. And, well, actually, was it 2 years or 3 years? I don't remember. But he also is a very good quarterback. So I kind of like this decision of just him not playing right away. And I do think overall, this is probably one of the most underrated teams in the league. Do I think it's the second best team in the division? No. but I don't think this team is. I think the fight for last place is not going to be as, how do I put it, simple that like the Giants are going to make it last place as I think a lot of people will. Obviously, if it's, a quarterback situation doesn't go well, but you kind of have to have a lot of ifs for this team to completely drop. You know, and also sorry for the frames there for a little bit. They kind of dropped a little bit, but now let's get to their schedule. And I kind of just want to say that their schedule isn't the worst, but it also definitely better with some of those teams, obviously. So let's start up with the worst case scenario. So, in my opinion, I think their floor is going to be, though, very, very low. Like, for example, you're going to be losing your first, like, 5 games here. Actually, you might be losing a lot of these games. Like, you're 0-8 to start the season, 0-9, 0-10, 0-11, 0-12, 13. I do think you're going to get the win against the Commanders, though, at home. Because I do think you will get that. Vikings, though, will beat you. And okay, do I really think all that's really going to happen? I guess so, right? No, I think so. Your worst case scenario is to be a 2-15 or 3-14. But if in terms of this, I'm just going to say 3-14 is your floor. That's if everything goes wrong. I think that's probably what's going to be happening. But then this is your ceiling, and I'm very curious to see how this will go. First of all, your first 3 games are the exact same. You still go 0-3. But I do think that you do get a win against the Chargers at home. I do believe that can actually happen. You know what I also believe that can happen? They beat the Eagles at home. Hey, this is best case scenario. Don't fight me. I'm just the messenger here. Obviously, though, I still think you're going to lose to the Broncos and the Eagles on the road. I think that's just without a doubt. You're also going to lose to the Niners on the road, but I do think you can get the win against the Bears on the road and get the win at home against the Packers. You normally do that. I still think you're going to lose to the Lions on the road, but you do get the win against the Patriots on the road. You get the win at home against the Commanders. You get the win at home against the Vikings now. And you get the win on the road against the Raiders. And then you get the win at home as well, again, to end against the Dallas Cowboys. My best case scenario for this team heading into the season is a 10-7 record. Do not sleep on this team, guys. Just do not sleep on this team. This team is, I think, again, one of the biggest sleepers heading into the 2025 season. And I don't know if they're my underdog team. Like, I say it's either the Giants that are my underdog team. The Seahawks are definitely one, in my opinion. What am I also thinking of? The Panthers, I think, is also one. And wasn't there another team? I think I had the Jets, didn't I? I think I had the Jets and Patriots. I think those were 2 teams as well that I had on the list. But again, if everything goes well, I think this is probably what their record might look like. I mean, to be fair, they do have a pretty not easy schedule, but I do think this team does have a potential to do very well. Obviously, like I said, I don't think they're going to win the division this year. I think 10-7 is not good enough to win the division. But is it definitely good enough to not be last place in the division? Abso-freaking-lutely. But that's just what I think so far. But anyways, guys, I do really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoy. Peace.